It is the DNVR Avalanche Toyota Winners Lounge, brought to you by your Front Range Toyota dealers. And, of course, the post-game show is brought to you by the folks that are never, ever ordinary. That is the folks at Bet365. Hi, everybody. Glad to have you along for this one. It's Gizmo, Rudo, Big E calling in. Huge win for the Avs, a 7-4 victory. They go 3-0 on this road trip. One game left against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They'll have a day break between those, but I'll tell you what. If you would have come away out of this road trip at 500, you would have been stoked. The fact that you are well above that on this road trip, climbing up the standings, a victory against the defending Stanley Cup champion, and seemingly all things firing on all cylinders for this club, you're a happy hockey team and fan base.
Yeah, the Avs were finding ways to win, I think, over this stretch. Tonight they dropped the hammer and said, yeah, no, we're better.
100%. I mean, that's the kind of victory you want, bud.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, they were the better team. Stanley Cup champs and all, and, they're going through a tough stretch. Everyone goes through a tough stretch. It's 5 out of 6 now for the Panthers. They're not happy about their game. You can see what, average to poor goaltending can do to you. You just look at Bobrovsky, one of the best goalies in the league. That's done it. That's won a cup. It's not, going through a good stretch right now. So, that trickles down to the rest of the team. They didn't really have a lot of chances against the Avalanche, as we saw. It felt like the Avalanche was the better team. And, again, third game of a 4-game road trip. You've won the road trip. It's outstanding. Now you're just trying to make it a perfect road trip. So it's a fun game coming up because, again, it's Tampa. You played with them in the finals 2 years ago. There's always a little fun, a little special thing, Kucherov versus McKinnon. So it's going to be a fun end of the road trip for the Avalanche.
Buddy, how are you doing? You okay, bud?
Yeah,
we took up a fund for you. We got the whole Ferris Bueller thing. We actually raised like $300,000. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm glad you're okay, but I wrote a very touching eulogy. Like, it was
sick, huh?
Is that where you got that $1 million bill?
Yeah. We made a lot of money on your potential demise, bro. Like, I mean, we sold it hard. I know you were passed out the other day, but, like, there was money raised. There's, like, these really cool posters. I wrote a really sweet thing. I mean, it was touching.
It.
Super touching.
I don't get sick very often. You know what I mean? When I do, it's usually the big one. This is really rare that I get that little sniffles of the cold or whatever it is, sinus infection. So, but whatever. It is what it is.
I did, in all transparency, because you're one of my best friends, I did in the eulogy include that story about that time that you and me had in Amsterdam.
Look, if you believe in superstitions, the Avs are undefeated when Eric Lacroix is sick. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go.
If you were a team player, you would go to downtown Boston or New York City and lick subway rails. That's what you would do.
All I know is I wished LOC some great luck tonight on Twitter.
It did work.
Today.
It did work.
It worked. See, I'll pick another guy tomorrow. Let me know who you want me to pick for Monday, and I'll send him some good vibes.
You know the name I'll send you. Let's talk about lot to cover tonight, but let's talk about the elephant in the room for me. And again, I keep saying this, you're getting lucky. You're getting lucky. You cannot keep starting hockey games that way. You cannot keep starting hockey games that way. I don't care what the numbers say about the Avs and their comeback ability on these situations, but that is not, it's not a recipe for success in the long term.
Yep. That first period should be a disappointment.
You can't do that.
If this was a one-off and you're like, oh, they started poorly, but then they got it together and they won the game, and don't get me wrong, the Avs played very well and deserved to win after the first period, but this is 6-7 games in a row where you're looking at the first period and going, not good enough. They managed to score a goal, but then they fall back into the bad defensive habits. They fall back into the poor turnovers. They don't really generate much at all in the first period. Even if it does end up pretty even on the underlyings, you're making teams' lives way too easy in the first periods of hockey, whether that's better defense, better puck management, better offensive generation, better goaltending. It's all of it. It's all areas of the game that are not good enough in the first period for this team. And it's only made more frustrating because they show up in the second period and play lights out. And you're just left wondering, why can't they do that in the first?
Well, yeah, what's happening there? Like, I honestly don't have a concept of it. I've never, and I said this with AJ during the intermission, and you and I have talked about it. We talked about it this morning. By the way, I gave you massive props for me showing up on time today, because if you would not have called me this morning at 9:30, there was zero chance I was showing up for the pregame show. I'd have been on like the 17th hole and been like, why is everybody texting me right now? So had my back today, buddy. I love you.
That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. But you're right, Ludo. Just so you, and it was the perfect opponent tonight to not be on top of your game at the start, because like we talked about, the Panthers are struggling right now. You know what I mean? Like, they're struggling. As we know, Sly, friend of the show, one of my best friends, one of their assistant coaches talked to him at length yesterday and today, and it was more about, like, they don't like where their game's at right now. And you know you're going to go through it as a team. We talk about it all the time. They're going through it right now. And I think that the Avalanche were lucky enough to don't let that goal affect them, so to speak, because, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of started on the wrong foot, but they picked it back up because the Panthers are a little fragile right now. And when you're in a fragile state, that's what you see, and that's what you saw. And then, but if you're playing a team that's rolling on all cylinders, name me a team right now in the NHL, I don't know, whoever it is, and then you give them that rope a little bit at the start, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You know what I mean? But the Avalanche were good enough in the sense that it didn't hurt them to start again. I don't know what to tell you about the mindset. It's funny enough, as you guys know, a bunch of the BU Terriers were at our place here tonight, and Max's teammates, and it's the same thing with their team. Jay Pandolfo is their head coach. He's a Stanley Cup winner, right? 2-time Stanley Cup winner. Unbelievable hockey coach, and can't get his team to start on time. Maybe we need Coach Sacco to get the team, you know what I mean, like, to make sure they start on time. The Bruins are starting on time now the last couple games, but it's funny. It's just, I don't know what it is. Those kids I was asking them tonight. I'm like, the Avalanche, because we were watching the game together, and I said, it's kind of like your team. You guys are sleeping a little bit at the start, and they're like, yeah, we talk about it. It's all we talk about after games. It's what we talk about before, and then the puck drops, and all of a sudden we're chasing the game. You know what I mean? So I think it's just, I don't know what it is. It's like a mindset or whatever it is, or it's bad luck, or there's something, and then all of a sudden it creeps up into your game. And you got to try to go and then, go 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row where it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And then you can honestly forget about it and then move on with the regular game. But it's certainly a little bit of a concern, that's for sure.
So what is the general sense of it then? How do you fix that? Or what's the conversation in the locker room, be it BU or be it the Colorado Avalanche? I mean, you've been in these rooms before, brother. So how do you spark a change? Because it's not sustainable it's just not. You can't sustain starting hockey games like this through the stretch of the season. It will catch up to you.
Well, that's exactly what I just said. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, you have to try to shake it off, and you have to go on a run where you go 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row when it doesn't happen, and then you can stop talking about it. Because right now it's a point that you talk about. Like I said, you talk about it after games. You'll talk about it before games. You talk about it after the first, like, oh, my God, it's happening again, guys. What are we doing? You talk about it on the bench. So, first and foremost, you just got to make sure that you got to get a little bit of puck luck. You got to get some saves. And then you got to go and press the opposition, go play in the other end. Make sure that, you're not making that costly mistake that ends up in the back of your net, and then you're chasing the game again. But it's certainly, like I said, a little bit of a concern. Do they have the leadership group to not let that derail them? Yes. Have they been there in championship games? Yes. That's the same core group. So I'm not worried about it, but it's also a little bit of a concern. But I'm not worried about it.
I would say this. It's been enough games. You've seen this happen consistently that you need to do something different, whatever it is. Go into that locker room pregame and say, "Hey, boys, it's the second period. Let's start. Let's pretend it's the second period and start the game like that." You have to do something different because whatever they're doing has led to enough slow starts that it's become, okay, this isn't working. We need to try something different.
Let me ask you a question. Who's the biggest guilty party for the slow start?
The players.
Is it coaching?
No.
Is it players?
Yep.
And then more specifically, is it goaltending?
Probably. I think it's a mix of players and goaltending. I don't put this on the coaching at all. The coaches can say whatever they want. Ultimately, it's the players who go out on the ice and play the game, and it's on them to get themselves up and ready to play.
Can't keep giving up one goal on first shot.
Correct.
Can't do that.
I can very much see how it would be deflating as a player if the first shot of the game goes in every single night.
Legitimately do everything you can to make the first save of the game on the first shot of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
The only thing I'm going to say is, sorry, I just keep coughing. The only thing I'm going to say about this is it's also a demeanor, you know what I mean? Because when you're a young team and this happens to you, you'll tend to crumble. So that can become very negative, and then you lose a bunch of games. The positive thing about the Avalanche is they don't let that affect them with all the reasons, because they know they are good. They know they have 3 of the top 10 players in the world, right? So you can come back in any game. So that is a plus. But you're right. That's why I said I'm not worried about it. But I'm also concerned because it just can't always happen. Because if it happens in the playoffs, you're going to be in trouble.
The funny thing is, that almost makes it more frustrating, right? Because if you have a bad first period and you have a bad game and you're just a bad team, then you're just bad. But every single night, we know the Avs are better than their first periods, and yet they keep having the bad first periods. So that's why we're drilling down into it. That's why we're trying to figure out why, what, how do these first periods keep happening the way that they do? Because on paper and in practice, both, they should be better than they are. They're just not right now. Whether it's goaltending, whether it's players, whether it's coaching. Let's be honest, in the real world, it's probably a bit of all three. You just need to figure out a little minor tweak here, a minor tweak there, and all of a sudden the Avs are going to start winning first periods, and games are going to get even easier for them.
We're gonna go ahead, E. Go ahead, buddy.
I just wanted to say, like, pardon me. I said I want to talk about it, and I'm not going to talk about it. But one of the main reasons, one of the main factors, the guy in the chat, Ryan, there, he's bang on. So I don't want to talk about it, but just read Ryan.
Giving up the first one is tough. I agree with that statement.
But it's all the time. So.
I want to address the king of trolls, but first let's talk about my friends at Bet365. And with Bet365, it is never ordinary. Bet365, an official partner of the not only Nuggets but Colorado Avalanche, and they are giving new customers in Colorado 2 months of Altitude Plus on them when you sign up. I've had such a fun time with Bet365. I was in the desert on betting for quite a while because I wasn't allowed to when I was working for teams specifically. But it's fun to be back. And listen, you don't have to bet a lot of money. You can just have a little bit of fun with it, and that's what I do. $5 here or there, pick some parlays. I missed a little bit tonight, but every single day they're powering up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win with more than over 10,000 boosts every single month. They boost specific markets, winnings, even parlays. There's early payouts in the NHL with Bet365, so if your team goes up by 3 goals or more, you're an instant winner. It's just a ton of fun. There's also DNVR specific bet boosts that we will start to do more of. That's a ton of fun as well, too. And plus, again, when you sign up, there's a $150 credit plus Altitude Plus on them for 2 months. It's a heck of a deal, and it's a lot of fun, and I highly, highly recommend that you get involved with it. like I said, it's easy. Use code DNVR365. Deposit $10. That's all you have to do. Place a bet of $5 or more to get $150 in bonus bets and a code to get the first 2 months of Altitude Plus, courtesy of Bet365. You must be 21 plus or older, obviously, physically located in the state of Colorado. And if you or someone you know maybe think you have a gambling problem, just hit the number, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Make sure you're being responsible. With Bet365, it's never ordinary.
The bets are out there. Do not bet on the Avs to start on time. But if you are betting on something to start on time, go get yourself a Toyota. Not even joking here. My wife's car's in the shop. They gave us a rental for
Toyota?
a couple of days. It's a Toyota.
Love it.
Got a little Corolla. The other night, coming home from our post-game show, I got home, accidentally left the door ajar in my garage, left the light on overnight, came back down the next day. My wife's like, you left the light on in the car. It's not going to start. I go in there. Thing starts right up like a charm. No problem. Starting on time. That's why you get yourself a Toyota.
Oh,
Make sure.
See what you did there. Oh, my goodness.
Go to your Front Range Toyota stores today and get yourself in one. Truck, SUV, hatchback, Corolla is a sedan, you name it, they've got it all. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota, and Boulder Grove Toyota, and Littleton, Mountain State Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Get yourself in the official vehicle of not just us here at DNVR, but the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche, too. It is Toyota.
Lindsay Spano, look at this. Victory shots
That's
from
his.
the DNVR bar.
That's
Whiskey's
his.
me always. Miss Spano, thank you so much. Oh, that's all right. That didn't hurt. That didn't hurt. I like body shots too.
All right.
Thanks, Spano.
Good thing I've gotten any belly button. Chat, we need 100 likes.
Yeah.
We're preempting it, but let's go.
We're
Step
close.
up here.
Give us a little bit of love there. Thank you guys so much. I want to get to this. We'll get to a little bit of an overview. Then I want to talk about balanced scoring in a second. But and Rudo, tons of stuff right now in the chat. Tiff, would you mind scrolling just a smidge up for me? I want to go back to King of Trolls. 2 questions. King of Trolls. First question, and I'll hit them both, and then we'll address them. Heard a report Landeskog is never coming back. We're not going to address the Landeskog stuff right now. I mean, he's doing his darndest.
There's nothing to say.
Nothing to say, unfortunately. That's just a lot of hearsay. Second question, is DeHaan hurt? DeHaan is not hurt. Obviously, it was a great game by Kylington tonight. But the biggest question that the Avs have right now is that they have, the goaltending is a question, even though Georgiev is playing well. Second question, they've got 2 extra defensemen. Obviously, you haven't seen DeHaan play this trip. That's causing a lot of questions because up until tonight, Kylington has not, in my opinion, played well at all. I will recuse myself from this conversation, and I will let the two of you address the big question in the chat that we continue to keep getting, but I'll let you guys have it in terms of what you think maybe is happening in that moment.
I mean, look, I think there's a reason the Avs are playing Kylington, and ultimately he did his job tonight and did a good job in what you would expect out of him to be as a player. I don't believe he makes sense as a fit for the Colorado Avalanche. If you want to go into my full in-depth thoughts, you can go rewatch the watch-along, or you can watch the last 3 or 4 shows we've done. We've talked about it a lot. I don't have a ton to say there. I've been pretty critical of him and Josh Manson over the last handful of games, and I think those are fair criticisms. But ultimately, the Avs had 8 points out of their defense tonight. They scored multiple goals. Their defense through 2 periods has given up 11 shots. Yeah, even if I have individual nitpicks, their defense on the whole played fantastic.
Agreed.
So what are we doing here? Enjoy what the Avs are getting out of their defense on a good night, even if you believe X player is probably the long-term answer there, or Y player is a better fit. That'll all come over the course of the season. The right guys will get to where they need to be. Right now, enjoy some good hockey.
Yeah, I think well said. And I think that they have one of the top 4s in the National Hockey League. That's not changing. And then Malinsky's emerged as a solid 5. He is, he'd be a solid 5 on a lot of teams. And then you have interchangeable pieces there on the 6th spot. whether it's Ludwig or Kylington now the last couple of games, or Calvin, and you know what you're going to get out of those guys. All three bring a different skill set, and then sometimes it can be situational, or who you're playing and who you think as a coaching staff gives you a better chance to win. Sometimes you're trying to make a move. Sometimes you're trying to make a trade. Things like that happen all the time, and then they want to see a certain player. If the guy hasn't played, then then they ask you to play him, and you play him. So I mean, you can read into it, and it's so many things. At the end of the day, Rudo said it best. Those guys give up nothing. There's a reason they won the last 5, 6 games, whatever they are. They're 11 or 12-5 in the last 17. They don't give up anything. They don't give up crap. They don't give up. I don't want to hear, they give up these breakdowns. Yeah, I know every team does that. You know what I mean? So they don't give up anything. And they keep playing this way, they're going to win 20 of the next 25 games. Without a doubt. That's how good they are.
We'll talk about Tampa. They're coming up next. We kind of gave the overview, but the other thing that really, for me, stood out tonight is a really nice, balanced scoring effort from across the board.
Yep.
They're getting the assists and the playmaking from the right guys at the right time. The only thing that, if I'm nitpicking, is that I would just love to see Mack pop a couple in here and there.
Yeah, and he does get a point on the empty netter. Just
I'm not giving Nathan McKinnon. He is unreal. That guy's an all-world player, no doubt about it. I'm literally nitpicking by saying I'd like to see him score some goals.
This is weird for me because I'm going to be the one who flips this into a positive. In the first portion of the season, we saw...
Who are you right now?
I know. It feels weird. It feels weird. But we see, in the first portion of the season, if Nathan McKinnon didn't play well, the Avs probably lose.
Correct.
And finally, the second line, the depth guys that the Avs have gotten back, it all comes together, and Nathan McKinnon doesn't have a great night, and the Avs still not only win, but honestly turn this into a pretty easy win for themselves, even with the bad first period. They score 4 goals in the second period. Your defense is popping off. Valenchushkin had a 3-point night, and he didn't even make our 3 stars. That's how good a night the entire Colorado Avalanche lineup had. It was clicking in a bunch of ways, and yeah, Sergei Bobrovsky was bad, but so what? Goaltenders are allowed to be bad for other teams, too. The Avs took advantage of that tonight. They put shots on net when they needed to. Pucks went in the net, whether it was defensemen, whether it was depth forwards, whether it was your top guys. It worked, and Nathan McKinnon didn't have to be great tonight, and the Avs still looked good.
Yeah,
hey, the way this team's built, we've said it, right? And I'll say it again. Forget about this past 20 games. Pretend that didn't happen, and we knew that. The situation they were in with Val and Gabe. We said it. This is a window of another 5 years, as you should see the Colorado Avalanche get to the summit a couple more times. They have 3 of the top 10 best players in the world. This is a solid. This is not. It's not giving kudos to Chris and C-Mac. It's actually a fact. It is a well-constructed roster. It's a solid defensive core. It's a solid 4-line team, and you're still missing Gabe, because it's a question mark. Gabe, who knows? We've been putting this aside for a couple years. Let's keep putting it aside. Let's pretend he's not there, right? We hope he's coming. Awesome. But at the end of the day, this is a great roster. This is a roster, if you ask people, who's coming out of the West, I will tell you, a lot of people are picking the Avalanche.
The Avalanche are a cup contender.
Yep.
The Avalanche are 1,000% a Stanley Cup contending team with the roster they have. If you fortify your goaltending position, shore up your defense by just a little bit to understand exactly what that is instead of the revolving door, and then figure out yes or no, as the great Pierre Lacroix, Eric, you would have loved that guy, by the way, if you ever met him, would have said yes or no on Landeskog. This is a I would bet this team to be in very much cup contention. 100% coming out of the West.
I think it's important to note, and the Avs probably played pretty close to their best hockey in the second period of this game.
Yeah.
But the first and third periods could have been better. Nobody wants to play their best hockey in November.
They don't put their... Young Billy was the one who actually said it to me on the phone call after the game. They don't put their foot down at the end of the game. They let off the pedal. They let off the pedal. I agree, too. You got a little bit more of a killer instinct at the very end there.
I hate that less with the multi-goal lead. You're correct. You would like to see them get it to 3 before they really let off the gas.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more tolerable to me with a 2-goal lead than a 1-goal lead.
That's fine. But it's agreed. But you gotta this team can't pick and choose where they do that.
That third period was a sleeper. They get away with a goalie interference caller. This is a very different game. I'm sure.
Yes.
I know Eric wants to talk about that, so we'll get to that.
That's my point, right? Like, you can't foster this. I don't give a shit what. Pardon me. I don't give a heck what the score is. You got to have that. You got to go.
I agree, but also
you're not going to start on time. You darn well better finish hot.
I fully agree, and it's something they do need to do better. But also, you just beat the defending Cup champs, and you played one good period.
I'm not knocking the win. I'm just saying that it's got to be. If you aren't going to start on time and play a crap first period, you better be all gas, no brakes for the rest of the 40.
You're right, and the Avs have found a way to make it work with these lockdown third period, whatever you want to call them. But frankly, this is where I think you miss Nathan MacKinnon in this game.
No doubt.
Nathan MacKinnon's the guy who says, I show up in the third period, I put this game to bed by scoring that next goal. And you're right. The Avs offense kind of went to sleep in the third period. It's fine. They won the game. They made it work. But if you're looking for ways for improvement, we focused so much on the slow starts in the first period. Ultimately, the Avs out-Corsied 7-20 in the third period. They only put 4 shots on goal at 5-on-5 in the third period. That's not great. It's not great, Bob.
I love that. The only thing I'm going to say to that is, and again, it's not an excuse. It's a reality. There's 2 teams on the ice. You know what I mean? And they are the Stanley Cup champions for a reason.
Eric
Florida
is
Panthers.
very quiet for us, Tiff. It might be on our end. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. No, you're better now.
Keep going, buddy.
All right. There's 2 teams on the ice. Florida Panthers are defending champs for a reason. They are going through it right now. They are in one. They're in one the last couple weeks. They're not playing good.
That's going to happen, though, for every team.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
you
what
caught
I'm
him
saying
at the
is
right time.
In a game like that, you do expect a push. I was looking at their roster this afternoon. I'm just looking, you know what I mean, on the jerseys there on that website. And I'm like, wow, that's a well-constructed roster as well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, I like their roster. You know what I mean? Like, this is a solid game. This is 2 solid teams going at it tonight. So I don't think you can dominate 60 minutes of a game when you're, if you were playing Cherry Creek High School, maybe. You know what I mean? Because that team's way out of their league. You know what I mean? But this is 2, like, Goliath, like, whatever you want to call that. Like, you know what I mean? Thor and whatever, like, going at it. Those are 2 good rosters. So you got to expect a push. You got to be able to handle the push, and I know we'll talk about it maybe after. They got away with I'm not saying it's the wrong call, right call, but you're talking about a few inches, right? That where all of a sudden it becomes a 5-4 game, you might be in one. You know what I mean? So I think that was a big play in the game there.
No, I agree that call going the Avs' way. On one hand, it goes the Avs' way. On the other hand, that's a stupid challenge by Paul Maurice, but we can talk more about it.
I mean, I'm not sure what he's doing there. It's like he was blinded by the lights of the arena and the scoreboard and needed some Shady Rays glasses on in order to see that clearly that he shouldn't have challenged. Might be my best one yet.
That was
not
good.
Gonna lie.
That was solid.
That tie-in is just my. The snow is coming to Denver, Colorado, and that means a lot of glare when you're driving or skiing or just out in the outdoors. So get ready for the season ahead with quality shades that are built to last, and our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They are an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor activities. Listen, I have worn Shady Rays. I'm not a big wear them on the golf course kind of guy, but I tried them the other day because I was lucky enough to get handed a pair by our wonderful friends here at DNVR, and they are actually as advertised. If you don't love the shades that you're currently in, exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. By the way, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. Exclusively for DNVR listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com and use code DNVR for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Look good, feel good, play good. Shady Rays has you covered.
Giz, you were on the greens today, right?
I was. Played a little golf today.
How would you also like to make some more green?
I did not make any green on the golf course today. In fact, if I could borrow a couple $100 because I owe Billy some money.
Well, you did try to give me $1 million.
I did. I tried. You didn't take it. I tried to give him $1 million today.
No one's going to give you $1 million, but if you want someone to give you $100, that's where Westera Credit Union comes into play. If you
Less zeros, but I'll take it.
There are a few less zeros, but it's a real 100, not a fake $1 million bill. So there's a little bit of a difference.
Semantics.
If you sign up with Westera Credit Union anytime through December 31st, so anytime before the new year, they'll give you $100 on January 2nd just for signing up with an account with them. All you have to do is join, open up one of their accounts, whether it be one of their fantastic smart money checking accounts or just a money market select account, whatever it might be, enroll in their digital banking, and that's $100 in your bank. I guess not your pocket. It goes into your bank account. But same difference. Westera, founded in 1934. They have 9 locations here in Denver, and they've been part of Colorado's community for an extremely long time. Make sure you get with them because they will have you making more money by doing the things you're already doing. Visit westeracu.com/become a member to learn more. Membership eligibility required. Insured by NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply. That's westeracu.com.
A little bit of time left here, obviously. About a half an hour left on our post-game show. Big thank you to the folks at Bet365. But first of all, winner shots. Let's go.
Chat, thank you so much for the 100 likes. You guys have been pretty consistent about doing this year. We appreciate y'all, especially our regulars. We see all y'all in chat.
Yeah.
You know who you are, who show up every night and are a part of this. We appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you, guys.
I like winner shots.
I do too, buddy. We're getting good at our timing there, too, by the way.
Not bad, yeah. We got it in sync now.
Yeah, we're in sync. I love that, actually. Makes it even better. Let's do this. Let's go back to the goalie interference because guys are and girls are talking about
Eric
it in the
has
chat.
a lot to say about this.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about. I want to talk about 3 stars. This is what we have to come. We'll talk 3 stars. We'll talk defensive contributions tonight because it was huge. I want to look ahead to Tampa Bay because that will be another difficult game.
Yep.
And then I want to talk about, and we'll go to this after we talk about the goaltender interference. We've been harping on the guys that got back in the lineup starting to contribute, and they have. So I want to give them some props. Let's talk about the goaltender interference. I 100% thought that was goalie interference in the blue paint. Stick took the skate away or took the stick away. Opened up the 5-hole. 5 holes where the goal was scored. So for me, that was an easy call on goalie interference.
No, I'm not saying it's the wrong call. I do believe it's the right call. What I'm saying it's a soft call. Like the puck's going in no matter what. Like again, Kachuk is just he's there 100 times a game. He just didn't. He misplaced where he was standing for half a second. Didn't realize he was that far in. He would have gone six inches above. Puck still would have gone in. I mean, and then you're in trouble there at that time. I'm not saying those were bad calls or good calls by the refereeing. It is what it is. You're up 5-3, and I said after the second on Twitter, don't give him an inch. Don't let them back in the game. Don't give him a silver platter. First and foremost, the biggest thing and the easiest thing you can do is take penalties. whether they're right calls or not calls, is the easiest gift you can give another team. All of a sudden, you have a 5-on-3 for a lengthy, almost a minute, right? And like I said, whatever. That goal goes in. I'm not saying it's the wrong call. It's the right call. The league the last couple days, if you watch hockey at night, you've seen this call made the last few days. So I agree that I think that would have been the right call. Watching it, it was not even an example, but I was laughing because I'm like, if that goes in, that's 4 on 15. That's 4 goals on 15 shots. And I don't care, like, oh, it's not his fault. Like, you're in trouble, and you're playing. All of a sudden, they're looking for something, defending cup champs, to get back in the game. You still have a power play after that. And, you do have weapons, Reinhard, Barkov, Kachuk. All those guys, next thing you know, you could have been in for a tough night, a tough third period, one that can hurt you. But, again, it's a game of inches. It's a game of puck luck at times. I do believe that the Avalanche got some puck luck on that play there, where it's the right call. But, Kachuk's in there untouched. I still think he goes 6 inches and he doesn't do the puck goes in anyway. But, hey, we'll take it, and then you move forward. But I'm not sure, like you said, what Paul Maurice was thinking. I wouldn't have challenged that right there. And then that gave the Avalanche another lucky break there.
Yeah, Paul Maurice shouldn't have challenged. He had 45 seconds left at 5-on-3. You probably score that goal again if you give them the straight-up opportunity.
Yeah.
The call itself, look, to me, right or wrong is arbitrary. I just want consistency, and that is consistent with the goals we've seen called back both against the Avs and around the league. So if you're giving me consistency, I'm happy there. You got consistency out of goalie interference, which is a miracle. What I will say is maybe there's a little bit of karma there. Those calls to put the Avs in a 5-on-3 situation. In a game up to that point, they had called one singular penalty to that point in the game. And you call 2 soft ones to put the Avs in that situation? Consistency. You get it with the goalie interference. You did not get consistency with the penalty calls in this game tonight.
Well said.
I can't expound on that anymore because I completely agree.
It worked out.
Just give me, if you want to just, I don't care how you call the game, call it the right way the whole way.
And they set a precedent. Through 2 periods of hockey, they called nothing. They called 1 penalty through 2 periods of hockey. They were letting everything go, and all of a sudden the Avs get a multi-goal lead in the 3rd period, and, we're calling everything. Come on, what are we doing?
Call it consistent. That's all I'm going to say. Tell you what, let's take a look, Tiff, at the 3 stars tonight, and we can kind of talk about that a little bit. All right, buddy. What do you think?
What do I look, I think we have a nice, diverse set of 3 stars here, and it shows just how wide-ranging the Avs were able to play effective hockey tonight. We can start with star number 3 here, and I think there are 3 or 4 guys on the Avs defense you could have given this star to, but I'm giving it to Sam Girard because Sam Girard represents all of the good things about Avalanche defense as of late. Yeah, sometimes you're going to have tough shift. Sometimes your partner is going to make mistakes, but you persevere. You make up for the mistakes that happen on the ice. You play the right way. Sometimes you're going to get good bounces. The goal he scores is friggin' nonsense, man. That's dumb, and it ends up in the back of the net. But it's not just, oh, hey, I got lucky on one good goal. He follows that up with a beautiful assist to Mikko Rantanen. He helps set up a play to give the Avs a multi-goal lead. He has multiple shifts on defense where his stick is active, effective. He's breaking up plays. This is a guy who fits the Avs system to a T. He does everything the Avs want him to do well, and it's fun to watch, man. He's just fun.
Big fan of Sammy Girard. I have been critical of other defensemen tonight, but I will give props as well to Kylington had 2 points tonight. He also had a goal and an assist, and the reason that we went with Girard over him has nothing to do with my criticism. It has everything to do with the timeliness of the 2 points of Girard. I felt were a little bit more impactful.
Look, Oliver Kylington did his job tonight.
He did.
He gave you 2 points. Great setup on the LOC goal.
Absolutely.
Great goal on his own. I feel great for the guy.
Absolutely.
I really don't want to criticize him.
Nope.
I've done enough of that. Girard was better than he
Girard was really good tonight.
There's a reason Girard plays in the top 4 and he doesn't. And Girard showed exactly why tonight.
Well, with Sammy, again, you got to remember who you're playing tonight. You're playing the Florida Panthers, right? A heavy team, a Stanley Cup championship team. Boy, was he good. Probably his best game of the year for me. I love the way he's played all year, but tonight, I tell you, not just the 2 points or whatever he had, it's the plays he made defensively, the heavy minutes this guy plays at a small stature that he has. I mean, what is he, 175 pounds maybe? Soaking wet?
Soaking wet,
Soaking wet. Plays a hard game. I mean, I'm biased towards him. I have a soft spot for him because he's from my part of the world, but also because he's a freaking good hockey player. And he is fun to watch. He is smiling, and it looks to be like a great teammate. And boy, when he plays games like that tonight, they didn't play in American Hockey League tonight. They played the Florida Panthers, and those were tough minutes on the road. And there's a reason the Avalanche are 12-5 in the last 17. It's guys like him. Of course, Mack's been great and all that stuff, but Sam Girard's been very consistent this year.
I think a perfect encapsulation of why I give Sam Girard so much credit. For most of the night, Sam Girard was paired with Josh Manson. Josh Manson goes -2 tonight. Girard goes even. Girard found a way to be effective on a night where his pairing mate was not effective. He individually found a way to get involved and be better than the players around him.
Well, I mean, we said it last year. I think the best way to describe Sammy is when he wasn't there last year for that extended period of time, we're like, oh yeah, we do miss Sam Girard. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people realize, like, okay, maybe we're hard on him sometimes at time, but boy, is he a nice, perfect top 4D for any team in the National Hockey League. The Avs are lucky to have him.
I know we're talking about this a lot. We've probably gone a little bit too deep about it, but I want to continue talking about it because Sam Girard, last year, once he came back, he was better, but he struggled to get significantly involved on the offensive side of the puck. This year, Sam Girard sits in the top 30 defensemen, I should say, in scoring. He's producing at a rate that, frankly, even at his best, we haven't seen him score at this rate. He's having the best year of his career through 21 games by a long shot. The dude is a difference maker in the Avalanche lineup.
Agreed.
And the only thing I'm going to add to that so we can move on to the second star is I tell you guys all the time, everybody's different. When you miss a significant amount of time, what do I mean by significant is 10, 15, 20 games, you're going to lose your timing. It's just the way it is. Look at LOC. He missed these last few months at the end of the year last year. I don't want to hear like, oh, this summer. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time to get your timing back. And Sammy, I think tonight, this year, after coming back last year, missing, I don't remember what it was. Was it 20-something games? Whatever it was a lengthy missed period of time. And then when he came back, the timing was off a little bit. But this year, he's been rolling. He's been going. There's a reason why his numbers are through the roof, and he's been fantastic.
Second star of the game tonight. This one was kind of a tap-in for me. Mikko Rantanen, 4 points, continues to be good. He's just consistent. Like, there's things that happen here and there, and I'm like, Mikko, but then you look at his numbers, and you're like, oh, never mind. You're unreal, bud.
First 10 games of the season, that's why you hate Mikko Rantanen.
He's unbelievable.
Last 10 games of the season, is there a better winger? Genuine. Is there a better winger in the NHL than Mikko Rantanen over the last 10 games?
Mikko Rantanen, I mean, I am falling in love with this team, and I knew that was going to happen, and it's part of the job when you do this job.
Vegas washed. Seattle washed. Chicago, they're just down right now. It is what it is.
Yeah. True. I have a special place in my heart always for Chicago, but the rest, it's like, listen, the love I have already for this Colorado team is so explained by the commitment you see in the room by the guys like Makar and McKinnon and Rantanen, who just clearly are like, okay, I grew up in a military family, right?
Yep.
I feel like it's a group of Marines taking their injured guys and literally throwing them on their shoulders and being like, I got you. I'm going to literally carry you across this line. It's Forrest Gump getting shot in the buttocks. And it's just a commitment to group and team, and it's that hockey brotherhood that I love so much. And Rantanen is such a part of that. The reason these guys are in the position they're in after 21 games in the season is because of the efforts of guys like McKinnon and Rantanen and Makar.
Yep.
So for me, Rantanen can do no wrong. McKinnon can do no wrong. Makar can do nobody can do any wrong in that group that just literally stepped up and was like, I got us, let's go. If they do what I think they're going to do this year, that's where the celebration lies.
100%. Nico is a special player. It's important we remember that. Look, there's plenty of stuff that is frustrating about Mikko Rantanen, but then he shows up and has a 4-point night like it's nothing because he's just better than most other players. The dude's on over 100-point pace again this year because he's that good. It's that simple.
And that's so awesome you said that because, you know, it's kind of like Sammy, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you always want to get on Mikko, and then you're like, you know, ooh, he's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what people say. We have the best D in the NHL. It's not even close. It's not even close. Somebody said, Mack, Kale should get the heart. Absolutely. Is there a better player in the National Hockey League first 20 games than Cale Makar? There is none. I'm sorry. He's the most valuable player so far this year in the NHL.
You know what
Mack
it is?
won the heart. Yeah.
You know what it is, E? You know, and I want to get back to this, but the thing that he is he's constantly firm. I'm telling you right now, he's constantly firm.
Hard on pucks?
He's hard on pucks. He's grinding.
Would you say he has a good performance?
He is always having a good performance. And that reminds me, if you aren't Cale Makar, but you want to be firm, hard on pucks, and really get in there all...
Cale Makar goes 23 minutes every night.
23
you know what I'm saying?
minutes firm and hard every single night. And if you want to be like Cale Makar, well, then you need Blue Chew. They're an online service that delivers... I cannot believe I'm saying these things.
Dude, I love this job. This is awesome.
Active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is super simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Listen, this is a company that has a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. You want to know what the best part is? It's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can just get straight to the point and get that thing all fired up and ready to go as soon as you're ready to need it.
Walk into the locker room like Mikko walked into the locker room.
Drop that stick right in the rack.
Exactly.
Wrap that thing up with tape. Ready to go. Tip, there's an art to taping a firm stick.
Oh, my goodness.
And Blue Chew has it for you.
Well, look. Blue Chew is great for the business. But then, afterward, you might need to chill. Might need to kick back, relax a little bit.
Well, you got it. If you go 23 minutes.
I'm saying, you need a refreshing beverage.
If you're hard on
that.
pucks for 23 minutes, you have to. Yeah.
And that's where Coors Light comes into play. The mountains turn blue. Make sure the mountains are turning blue, not your balls, all right? You know what I'm saying? Bottle or the can.
Come on.
Beer literally made to chill when you're chilling at home, whether you're doing the deed or you're watching a hockey game. Coors Light has you covered, and you don't even have to get out of bed. CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Jump in with them thanks to Instacart. They'll deliver it right to your front door. So when you're done, you can walk right to the front door, pick up the beer, bring one back to your lady or man. You're good to go. Both of you enjoying a beer in bed. Jump on it. This is the best ad read we've ever done, if I'm honest. Coors Light, go get them. CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Please drink responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Pretty good. Pretty good, boys. Let's go. We're in our midseason groove at this point. We're feeling it. And with that statement, by the way, Mikko Rantanen is going to get paid.
Okay. Let me take over. Because before your beautiful ad reads, I was telling you something. I said Makar should win the Hart right now. I mean, as it stands, and he's the best defenseman. But
I don't disagree.
No, I'm just saying so far. He's the best player on the planet. And then you got McKinnon that won the Hart last year. So arguably he's the best center in the NHL, right? And then Mikko, you cannot argue me that he is not a top 3 winger in the National Hockey League. And then you saw it tonight. Obviously, I'm sure you were so excited when he did that chip shot and scored. That
wasn't the chip shot. That was fine. That one
Whatever,
was okay.
Yeah. Close enough. The half bat, I love it. He works on it in practice. But Mikko's top 3 winger in the National Hockey League. He is. And that's why he's the second star tonight. He took over tonight against a Stanley Cup championship, caliber team, the Florida Panthers, on the road. And, and the standards are so weird and high. Like we said, Max got 6 points in 6 games, and everybody's like trying to find out what is wrong with the dude, what's going on with them. And, that's how crazy those guys are. That's how awesome those guys are. I mean, 6 points in 6 games, and we're all like trying to dig into his game like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? It's awesome.
We haven't got to the first star yet by some amazing. I don't know what happened. We got
ad read stole
massively
the show.
Distracted. I was, all the blood rushed somewhere else. Oh gosh, Tiff, I'm so sorry. I love you, Jonathan Drouin, number 1 star, 2 goals tonight. We talked about needing guys like Drouin and Miles Wood, Lakin and Nichushkin to step up and contribute now that they're back. Excuses were gone. It is happening. Miles Wood was great. Drouin was great. Nichushkin, good. I'm happy with what we're getting from the guys that are back in the lineup.
Look, Jonathan Drouin's 2 goals tonight are the perfect example of a good play and a great play.
100%.
Good play. Jonathan Drouin goes to the net, rebound, bounces off his shoulder, ends up going in. That's a good play. You did the right things. Things went your way. Good job. A great play is Jonathan Drouin goes to the net, gets a fantastic play from Makar, does not panic. He receives the pass. He controls the pass. He recognizes he has space. He holds onto it for that extra half second and creates a tap in for himself instead of throwing it into the body of a goaltender. Instead of a depth player down the lineup firing it right into the crest of the goalie.
Yep.
It's such a fine line. The difference between you didn't shoot it very well to you created a goal that's a freebie for yourself. Yeah. And Jonathan Drouin is that guy on the Colorado Avalanche. He's not going to pop off every night like the superstars, but he's a good enough player.
Don't need him to.
Exactly. He makes the right play in the right moment. And that's a big story of why Drouin is our first star. Val Nichushkin had a 3-point night. One of those is an assist, which is a very nice play, but it makes the game 6-3. The goal is an empty netter to make the game 7-4. The Jonathan Drouin's goals are you tie the game 1-1 in the first period, and you bring it back for the Avalanche in the second period to push them up in front of this team, and you run away with the game from there.
Yeah, our picks for 3 stars, by the way, this season will not be predicated just upon points, but the meaningfulness of the points and the timeliness of them. And Eric, I think as a former player in the NHL, you can respect that mentality.
Oh my God, that is a great, important stat you look at. There's guys that throughout their careers, they scored the 7th goal in a 7-3 game. You know what I mean? It's like they're notorious for it. But there's guys that are clutch, and every time they score or get a point, it's to tie a game. It's to get ahead by 1 goal. Those are very important clutch plays. And I think Jonathan Drouin, somebody on the chat there, I think, I forgot the name there, I think Lane maybe, was wondering, hopefully they can get Drouin, to stay. Don't worry, Drouin's not going anywhere. Drouin will be here.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, there's no doubt he loves it here. It fits here. It's gonna happen.
They're gonna make it work.
2 things more left before we say goodbye in 5 minutes. start with this. What more do you want to see out of this team? How do they improve between now and in 48 hours when they play Tampa Bay? And then we'll talk about the matchup with Tampa Bay. But what needs to change between now and the game against Tampa Bay before they end this road trip, E?
Need to change as a team, you mean?
Yes, sir. Yeah, what needs to be done? A great win tonight, no doubt about it. There's always room for improvement. Perfection never achieved. What has to happen for them to be even better than they were tonight?
Well, I think you just got to keep going. Honestly, I mean, they're 12-5 last 17. This is a 3-0 road trip. You played against a good team tonight. You're going to play against another team. I think you just got to keep up with the high vibes and the confidence. And my Lord, these last 4 or 5 games, even the game against Washington at home, like they're giving up nothing. They're barely giving up 20 shots a night. If they keep going with their defensive structure like that, and they can rely on those 4 lines now to hit the back of the net, that's a dangerous team. The back end is the same as it's been pretty much all year, so I'm not worried about it. But those guys are starting to jump up in the play and collect some offense. And if you can do that, and then you can keep production from 4 lines, wow, that's a dangerous team. That's a dangerous team.
Thoughts from you, same question.
Your penalty kills got to be better.
Yeah.
You're one of the worst penalty kills
that
in the league. You gave up 1 real one, and you gave up 1 fake one tonight. You cannot keep costing yourself games with special teams. And yeah, the reffing was bad. Yeah, the calls didn't go your way. Tough. That's hockey, man. You got to find a way to persevere, get through those things, and help yourselves. With the penalty kill where it's at right now, there's no more excuses. You don't have to play the depth AHL guys on your penalty kill anymore. You have Nichushkin. You have Logan O'Connor. You have Parker Kelly. You have Yoel Kiviranta. Your penalty kill needs to get to a level where it is consistently killing the ones that you're asked to kill.
Yep, I agree. That's an area of improvement for sure tonight. The only other thing for me is that, again, we're not going to go back at it, but you have got to find a way to start on time. You just have to. You're not going to get away with that against, maybe you will. Shit. You got away with it against Florida tonight, the defending Stanley Cup champion, but
the Avs are a good enough team to get away with it a lot, but you can't do it every night.
You can't do it every night. It's just it's not sustainable. I'm sorry, it's
100%.
not. So you have to be better at the start. All right, Tampa Bay is next. The Avalanche with a chance to go 4 for 4 on this road trip, which is baffling to me. But really quick, what do you expect? What do you expect in the game against Tampa Bay?
The Avs should be hungry. Last game against Tampa Bay, they blew them out. That was a very different Avalanche lineup. This time they get to go in with a mostly healthy lineup and say, yo, this is what we're actually about. Let's see what happens.
E?
Absolutely. And you should challenge yourself. And you shouldn't be like, and you know the mindset of the Avalanche is not what I'm going to say, oh, we already have 3 wins on this road trip. Who cares? We dropped that one. We go 3-1. No. You want a perfection. You want 4-0. And it sets you up for the rest of the year, because you challenge yourself to short-term goals. I think the Avs are going to challenge themselves. They're going to make sure they hit perfection with that 4-0 road trip.
Eric, this is your thing with the 10-game segments, but you know what? The Avs had a good 10 to 20 10-game segment. They put themselves above 500. Guess what? You just started 1-0 with this 10-game segment. You feel real good if you go 2-0.
100%. Short-term goals. Short-term goals.
Yep.
All right, that's a wrap on a very early evening for the DNVR Avalanche crew, except for Rudo, who has a lengthy review ahead of him.
A lot of goals.
Glad you're feeling better, buddy. Thank you so much. We're back tomorrow. We'll talk about a lot of different things. Make sure you drop us a like. Thank you for the 100 and getting us the shots tonight twice. We appreciate you all so much. If you're not a diehard, please become one. If you're not subscribed yet, do that. Make sure you're following us on all of our social platforms, and make sure you also have notifications turned on so you know when we are giving you all of the news pertinent to your favorite team, the Colorado Avalanche.
Don't sleep on Giz's post-game piece as well as AJ's Studs and Duds. We do have a lot of written content. I know video's not for everyone, so make sure you're start checking that stuff out.
We got
too.
a lot of stuff for you, and we thank you so much for your loyalty. We'll have a pod for you tomorrow, and then we'll of course talk about the schedule to come, and obviously the brief Thanksgiving situation and where that means all teams are at. Big thank you to our producer Tiffany for all that she does behind the scenes. She works probably harder than all of us. E, love you. Thank you for calling in and feeling better, and give Max a hug for us and thank him for the intermission reports. That was awesome. I knew he was going to be a broadcaster at some point. Big thanks to Rudo and to all of you. Make sure you come down to the DNVR bar, hang out with us, and say hello. Be a good person. Do something to make somebody's life better, and call your mom. Good night, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.